I'm not saying that we're taking Josh Allen for granted, but there are some things that he's doing right now that deserve way more attention. Despite a rough start on Sunday, Josh Allen went nuclear to lead the Buffalo Bills to a big 44-32 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, throwing for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns while rushing for another 40 yards and 3 scores. Before even diving into the stats or the tape, we have to acknowledge all of the milestones that Allen reached and records that he broke with this 6-touchdown performance. Allen set the NFL record with 11 games of at least 3 passing and 1 rushing touchdown, breaking the record previously held by Tom Brady with 10. He also broke a tie with Cordell Stewart with the most games of at least 3 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns, and now is the only player in NFL history with multiple games of 3 passing and 3 rushing scores. The only other player to have 3 rushing and 3 passing TDs in one game was Otto Graham in 1954. Perhaps the most noteworthy milestone is that Allen is now tied with Cam Newton for the most career rushing touchdowns by a quarterback with 75, and at 29 years old, he's bound to shatter that record. He's tied for 26th all-time in NFL history in rushing touchdowns. I need you to understand where he is conceptually. He is just behind guys like Edgerrin James and Tony Dorsett, and this man is not even 30 years old yet and is a quarterback. It's hard to overstate just how impressive this game was from Allen. According to RBs Don't Matter, Allen posted a fantastic 19.2 total EPA and 0.49 EPA per play, all while chucking it downfield with an average depth of target of 11.5 yards. Just look at how absurd his passing chart is from Next Gen Stats from this game, with his biggest play of the day coming on a bomb to Tyrell Shavers that went nearly 50 yards in the air. A game like this has suddenly vaulted Allen back into the MVP conversation with the likes of Drake May and Jonathan Taylor, and did a lot to remind fans around the league of what the Bills can do when their superstar quarterback is firing on all cylinders. So let's dive into the film of what was an all-time Josh Allen game in today's episode of Best Available. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're not already, make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube. You can follow us on socials at BestAvailableYT. And if you've really enjoyed the channel so far and want to find another way to support us, consider becoming a member. For just $2.99 a month, you'll get a few additional benefits. But above all else, you are just supporting the brand. I will leave details to becoming a member in the episode description. But like myself, I know you really want to dive into the Josh Allen tape. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. We're going to start with the not so awesome with Allen, because he made one of the most classic on-brand early career Josh Allen mistakes he could have early in this game. Second play for the Bills offense of the game. They are backed up in their own end zone. And you know Josh Allen, he's got a lot of Brett Favre to him. And I'm not saying that just because I have Packers jerseys in the background. This is a man that makes so many circus highlights and can really do anything on a football field, it feels like. But that can really bite him at times where he thinks he's just never going to die. He thinks he's invincible in some really crazy situations. So here we have a free rusher right here because of the slide by the line. We've got Island here. Everyone's stepping here. No one accounts for this rusher. So this is just a missed protection by the O-line. Allen sees it. He is getting tackled. He wants to avoid the safety, which I appreciate. But then he just kind of two-hand chest passes this pass. I'm sorry. I'm just so floored by it. He two-hand chest passes it, and that's not going to go anywhere. It goes right to Jacob Parrish, the rookie corner for Tampa, who's having an awfully great year. Hilarious interception. Thank goodness the Bills win this game, or Allen's getting crushed for this all week. It's the Favre in him. I really appreciate, hey, I don't want to take the safety. I want to make a cool play. A two-hand chest pass. He's not even going for Shakir. It looks like he's going for Josh Palmer. There's just no way to chest pass a football in these conditions that far while getting hit. It's a disaster, a disaster of a play. Gifts the Buccaneers some free points out of it. Again, doesn't matter in the end because the Bills end up winning, but woof, just Not how you want to start a game. My goodness. Big third down here early in the game. Allen quickly recovers from that interception. And he's going to get a tell based off this motion from Palmer that there is heavy pressure coming. You can already see we got 4 to the line here. We've got this guy covering this outside receiver off the screen, but then we have 1, 2, 3 over 2, right? So that should be a little bit of a red flag. We have more numbers covering these 2 receivers than there are guys. That's a blitz tell. And then if we're watching how they're reacting to Palmer going in motion, there's a slight bump, but no one's following him across the formation. So instead of going 1, 2, 3 by 1, this motion is telling us we're going, potentially 2 by 2, but these guys aren't bumping. Something is happening here. That's your tell with that motion, right? These two guys, there's going to be extra rush coming from the left. So that motion's a good indication of that. We're bumping back out with, Palmer going back to his original spot, getting a thumbs up. Again, third down here, we know some pressure is coming. Lo and behold, extra rusher here. And got a DB blitzing, so we're trying to overload this left side. 2 here. We're going to hold up the center. So then we have 3 rushers on a guard and a tackle. So we have numbers here if we can fill it up right. So Allen knows he needs to get this ball out quick, right, because of that blitz. And it's on third down, and a lot of younger quarterbacks might panic and just hit this drag route here. But it's like 3rd and medium, 3rd and 4-ish, if I recall, and Winfield, the safety, is barreling down on this drag route, right? Because he thinks, hey, blitz, Allen wants to get that ball out quick. We just need to hit the underneath route. But what I appreciate from Allen and what does make him special on this 3rd and 4, he trusts his receivers enough and his arm. Instead of going for that drag route, he's hitting a tight window right here. And I just think that's an awfully nice throw. Step up against the blitz, knowing that there's extra pressure coming. Running back helps pick it up, thank goodness. But instead of going on that underneath route, we just hit that tight window to Palmer for a big first down. These are the kind of plays that make, Allen one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Because, again, I can't tell you how many quarterbacks, they feel that extra rusher coming from the left, and they get jittery, and they just hit this guy and just like, hey, make a play after the catch. Too many times, especially against a safety like Winfield, who's, one of the more underappreciated just defenders, period, in the league. To know that's probably not a winning play and to just hit that slant instead, that's a phenomenal decision by Allen. There are some plays Allen makes that no quarterback is doing or trying anymore. Like, Patrick Mahomes just doesn't feel like the deep ball is there as it used to be earlier in his career. There are some real exciting players in the league, but no one can combine this kind of off-script stuff with the arm talent. So Allen's going to feel that pressure, right? Pocket's collapsing. He's going to try and escape. He's going to try and bounce out here. As soon as he feels that defender carry, he's going to trust his blocker to pick it back up as he cuts inside. And then he's keeping his eyes downfield at Tyrell Shavers. This safety's too focused on this not underneath, but this inside route. This corner looks like he's probably playing the flat initially, realizes he has to recover and go deep. But in theory, you shouldn't be too worried about this, right? Allen is escaping away from this pass. Now he's scrambling around. He shouldn't see this, right? Wrong. He's keeping his eyes downfield. He's scrambling on third down like his life depends on it. He sees Shavers from here. And this is that when we had that passing chart at the beginning of the video, this is that throw. Look how quickly that ball gets there over the top of the safety. While he's that's not you don't really, he's stepping in to throw this, but that's not how you're taught to step into a throw. It's just off script. His, mechanics are a little funky. His platform is, at least. And he just rips that over the safety on a rope, 50 yards into the end zone to Tyrell Shavers. These are the plays that have made Josh Allen, a future Hall of Famer, because there aren't other quarterbacks doing this right now. This is just a patently absurd play from Josh Allen. This obviously isn't as an exciting of a play as the last one to Shavers, but I think it just is another good example of the arm strength that Josh Allen possesses. We're going to see here, we're just going to have this quick out route to Shavers, right? He's going to create some natural separation because this guy's so worried about deep. So we're going to get, plenty of cushion on this out route. But I want you to pay attention to Allen's feet as he throws this. Normally we've talked about you want your feet pointed to your receiver, right? So angled there. You want to be able to step up in the pocket and throw it so you can throw with velocity. Allen doesn't step into this throw, and he even like pump fakes it or clutches it. And just the ability and the arm strength to just even from awkward angles, the pocket's collapsing, don't really have much room to step into this, to still get that out there, to the sideline from the far hash is just another, again, not the flashiest play, but just showcases the kind of arm talent we're talking about with a quarterback like Allen. They can just really deliver some of these passes from, awkward angles, just relying on his core strength and arm talent. Because I don't think it's a competition anymore as far as who has the best arm in the league. Because Allen makes stuff like this look so routine. NFL throws, you got to be able to hit the middle of the field, intermediate, between 10 and 19 yards. And Allen obviously has the tools to do that. Got this play. We're going to motion Curtis Samuel in, and then he's just going to take off deep downfield. So it's called a dagger concept. So the inside or number 2 receiver on that side, is just going up the seam, trying to force the safeties and corners to gain depth. And then right behind him, we're going to have this in-breaking route. This is just a dagger concept. We're trying to clear the way with this vertical route to open up a throwing window for this in, okay? So we're going to run that off play action with Allen, right? We're keeping the tight end in. We're keeping tight ends in just for, additional protection. Make sure we can get this off. And unfortunately, there still is a guy barreling down for Allen, but he has no problem with that size and arm talent to just rip that dagger. It's a great play design off play action, too, because you can see, as we're getting into that in-breaking route, because Curtis Samuel's carrying this vertically and the safety has to force that, we've got a gigantic throwing window. So maybe an easier play, but too many quarterbacks still struggle or feel uncomfortable throwing, this deep in the middle of the field. I just appreciate the play call. It's a big play, an explosive play. Allen's able to get it while, a guy's barreling down on him. And it, hits Shavers. Is that Shavers again? Great day for Shavers, but hits him in stride. Just another really nice throw, but also just a nice concept to generate one of these explosives naturally through, a classic concept, dagger. I absolutely love this play. Eye candy, along with a great executed route, being a sacrificial, good teammate wide receiver. And then we're going to get a nice wheel route out of the backfield. So we're going to run this like, spinner motion from Shakir, get some eye candy to, distract all these second level defenders by, this motion. And then the important route here we're going to see before we see James Cook on the touchdown, got to release inside here because we're going to run out between the B gap a wheel route. So we're going to, instead of, typically when I think of mesh wheel or, a wheel route out of the backfield, same side, right? Because James Cook's currently on this side of the quarterback, but instead we're going to go opposite. We're going to go in between the guard and tackle. But in order for this wheel route to work, we've got to make sure this corner isn't biting on it and the safety isn't biting on it. So how do we do that? Have to release inside on this, looks like a post route by this receiver up top. By doing that, we are turning the eyes and hips of the corner to follow us. Because if he is, staying home or his hips are flipped the other way, it's way easier to peel off and catch this wheel route. But by releasing inside, it's going to hold the corner, it's going to hold the safety, it's going to open this up because you're going to notice this DN suddenly has responsibilities for Cook. Let's go ahead and run it. So we've got the, orbit return motion. We're going to eyeball there. We're trying to, pretend like it's a sprint out or a quick flat to Shakir. All of that's happening. Go here. This DN quickly realizes, oh, snap. Cook's leaking out of the backfield. Our wide receiver's getting that inside release to get the corner committed. Safety's being held by this. And then it's just on the money. Winfield's too late to react to it. It's a touchdown. We'll run it in full again with that motion and just watch, how this impacts every... It's a lot of eye candy and the second level defenders, but I still say for a wide receiver, you have to be a good teammate at times on your routes. You have to dig this inside. You have to run at full speed. You've got to get everyone to commit, even knowing that you're not the primary route here, because it opens up that wheel for Cook. Great teammate play by number 13, and just love. I love Allen's ability to step into the pocket, keep his eyes downfield. He's feeling some pressure again. Step up. Throw with touch. It's one of the things as Allen's gotten older and more mature, because we've always known he's had a great arm. So many quarterbacks when they're young and have a good arm want to rip every throw, but you got to throw with touch sometimes and take some off of it. And this is a great example of that. to, place a ball perfectly on the money for Cook for the touchdown. For as dominant as Allen is as a running threat, and he just does such a good job of keeping his eyes downfield. He's feeling this pressure inside from, I believe that's Yaya Diaby. He's rolling out, and instead of, just panicking or anything like that, he's just escaping, keeping his eyes downfield, right? He's looking at this receiver, then he's going to look to the flat, and he's going to notice this receiver coming, from across the screen, keeping those eyes downfield, always looking for that throw, and then just tough throw with number 8, trying to break it up, but getting it around that defender. Still get a huge play out of it. Like, that's a really nice play on all accounts by Allen. So many quarterbacks feel that pressure, escape the pocket. They drop their eyes. They're looking for a check down. But Allen's just so gifted on these off-script plays that he always seems to know where that big play is going to come from when he's outside of the pocket. Just love some of the stuff Allen can do when he steps up in the pocket. Yes, he's a threat to move, but even when stepping up, like we talked about last play, he's keeping his eyes downfield. It can hold defenders. So we've got 2 drops by these linebackers. Let me rewind it just a bit. These linebackers are going to drop into like hook zones, it looks like. So here and about, here, right? And maybe a little more here. These are just rough estimations of their zone drops. But it looks like they're like hook curl drops, these 2 linebackers, right? But that leaves this middle of the field window. If Allen's just staying in the pocket here and this linebacker is staying patient, he's probably going to jump this middle of the field throw. But because Allen steps into it, it almost holds him. He originally reads this, but then, sees Allen stepping up. His feet kind of get in dirt. Like, do I attack the quarterback? Do I stay in a drop? Just kind of stuck in between 2 places. And by the time Allen commits, his feet are kind of in the mud on this. Tough play, nice throw, keeping your eyes downfield. Find that soft spot, get close to the end zone. I just really love some of the close to goal line stuff the Bills are able to run with their quarterback. I mean, this man is built like a tank, so they are not afraid to run him. And this is going to be a great example of that. We're going to have this motion from Cook, and then we're going to have this kind of pin and pull almost concept. Knox is going to seal off this defender, and we're going to have a puller in space, and then Allen's just going to feel that natural zone being created. So we have that motion. We're going to pin down with Knox to create that first part of the rushing lane. Great block by Knox, but you can see what that's doing is creating this first part of this rushing lane. And then ideally we're trying to get here, or depending on, this guard, and if he's using that momentum, we're just trying to create that momentum. So you can see this interior lineman here creates that part of the rushing lane. We've got that great seal block by Knox, and then that creates our cutback. And then Deion Dawkins, is potentially picking up another defender. But by that time, we've done our job as a blocking assignment from the tight end and the lineman. Allen's so good on these gap scheme QB runs that he just feels that natural lane being created. Great block by 66. I apologize. I think I said that was the guard earlier. That is the center. I love this play because you have the tank of Josh Allen. I know that defenses at this point are prepared for QB runs, but man, he's tied for the all-time record of QB rushing touchdowns for a reason. He's just such a natural runner, and the Bills are so comfortable running concepts like this near the goal line. Again, I want to give all the credit to Knox for just really sealing this lane, just really controlling this block the whole way. I think, the rest of the linemen do a good job in space, but without that seal and crack block down, I don't think we're having an easy a time for Allen to get to the end zone as he did. Game-sealing touchdown to end it, too. We're going to have an almost identical concept. And again, Knox on the end of the line. He's going to crack down. We're going to have guys in space. We're going to even motion Cook out of the backfield. You can see Knox is coming down. This time our right tackle is staying home as well, so they're going to combo block this. We've got 66 and the left tackle, Deion Dawkins, pulling. So a similar concept, not an exact concept, but we're going to feel that seal. We're going to follow the blockers to cut back off of. But that's not what makes this play so impressive. It's Allen meeting contact and then just carrying himself thanks to his lineman as well. But he's so powerful as a runner to keep your feet moving, and you have your lineman just push the pile into the end zone for the game-sealing touchdown. These are the plays where I really believe that this year's Bills team can finally get it done. There's just so much they're able to do with Josh Allen under center. And the defense, while injured, still has enough players, in my opinion. But plays like this are just an attitude thing too. It's not just Allen, it's the rest of the line just trying to push that pile to win the game. I love so much about the effort on this play. Like these are what winning teams do to seal it off, and just man, Allen's just built different. If you don't love Josh Allen, you might be a division rival, or you might just not like football, because Allen plays the game in such an entertaining and exciting way that even people like me who do this for a living full time, like it makes me feel like a kid again watching. And maybe that's a little bit of, being a lifelong Packers fan and watching Brett Favre as a kid, but like there's just no one doing it like Josh Allen right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did, because man, what a year he is having once again. We'll be curious to see if he can become a back-to-back MVP. Still a few weeks left to determine that. We'll be back on Wednesday with a certain Notre Dame player not named Jeremiah Love. I think I found my pro comp for him. I'm absolutely fascinated by his game. So hope you stick around for that on Wednesday. If you want to make sure you're stayed up to date on all videos coming out, we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And we'll be back in a couple of days. So thank you so much for watching Best Available. We will see you later.